Welcome to the Phoenix Expert Series. In this recording, I'm going to demonstrate how to deploy AWS Proxy used to manage Druva's DRS solution. You should be familiar with the Phoenix VMware backup infrastructure concepts, understand the generic DRS flow explained in the overview video, and have a VPC configured in your AWS account. This video focuses on the Phoenix side of the AWS proxy deployment. However, it also shows the AWS side of the deployment. In the last part of the video, I'll demonstrate how to deploy a second proxy to take advantage of the AWS highly available architecture. Let's switch to the Phoenix console. As you can see, there are some VMware VMs backed up in the banking organization. Let's go to banking and take a look at the VMs. There are 5 VMs enabled for backup across 2 different regions, US West and US East, and none of them has been configured for DR yet. My goal is to enable disaster recovery for them. DRS configuration in Phoenix can be found under Manage, Disaster Recovery tab. You can see an initial screen displayed when disaster recovery has not been configured in this organization yet. From this screen, you can register the first AWS proxy. Proxy deployment has been automated through CloudFormation stack, which will be deployed in a specific AWS region. Why do you need to specify a region for proxy deployment? Let me bring back the slides from the overview video and show you why we need to select a region here. During the data transfer from the Druva account to the customer account, an EBS volume is attached to the AWS proxy and data is transferred from a Druva S3 bucket through the proxy to the EBS volume. Next, the EBS volume snapshot is saved in an S3 bucket in the customer account. So all highlighted components need to be in the same region to guarantee efficient data transfer. EBS snapshot can be stored only in S3 in the same region, and 25 gigabits per second transfer rate from the Druva Phoenix to the customer account is also only possible within the same region. In this demonstration, I'll configure DRS for VMs backed up to the US East 1 region. Clicking Create CloudFormation Stack brings me to the AWS console where I have to log into my AWS account. Again, let's bring back the slides from the overview. If you remember, the backup site is created in a customer AWS account in AWS Cloud, and in this account we will deploy AWS Proxy and install Druva role and a policy. So I'm going to log into my account, and after logging in I can see the stack created by Phoenix in my AWS account. So let's review the stack. We have 2 options for Phoenix configuration. Those are 2 different templates. One is deploying infrastructure and proxy, another one is only proxy. So since we're running it for the first time, we are choosing infrastructure and proxy deployment. That will create a role and a policy and will deploy AWS proxy. Phoenix activation token is used to authenticate AWS proxy with Phoenix Cloud. Number of instances depends on the amount of protected VMs. I'll go with 1. And now 2 network related settings discussed in the previous video. The VPC, I have created separate VPC for AWS proxies called Druva AWS Proxy, and the subnet. I'm going to deploy the proxy in the availability zone 1 subnet. The next parameter is the instance type. C5X large is the recommended one. You can choose other instance type from the AWS range of instances. However, one important thing to remember is to choose an instance supporting enhanced networking. Here is the list of the instances supporting enhanced networking, allowing for up to 25 gigabit per second transfer from the Druva S3 to your account. The next parameter configures the keys which can be used to access the AWS proxy instance via SSH if needed. And the last parameter is public IP, which needs to be set to true since the proxy is being deployed in a public subnet and it will need to communicate with the Phoenix Cloud over the internet. The template is ready for the deployment. Clicking create the stack initiates the resource creation, and I'll pause the video and resume when the stack has been created. So as you can see, the main stack created 2 nested ones, all of them completed successfully. I can go to my EC2s and verify that I have a running AWS Proxy instance. And then if I go back to Phoenix and I refresh this page, and I can see my proxy connected and deployed. If I wanted to add another proxy for resiliency, as I showed in my diagram, then we just run register proxy one more time, again the same region, and we'll create a second CloudFormation stack. And this time I'm not going to choose the infra and proxy because that would create a role. So I want to create proxy deployment only. Again, one instance, the same VPC, so my AWS proxy, but this time I want to deploy it in availability zone 2 subnet. So that would make sure that my second proxy is in a different geographical location. And again, the same key, and then this stack will deploy my second proxy in a moment. Let me pause it again and let's wait for this proxy to be deployed. So the CloudFormation template is finished, and now we can see second instance deployed. And if I go to my Phoenix console, I can see both proxies running. So the next step is to configure DR plans. That's going to be discussed in a different video. But in order to create the DR plan, you need to prepare your AWS DR backup site. So if you need help with that part, that will be also covered in another video. Your choice for the next video is either to watch how to create AWS infrastructure for your DR or how to create a DR plan in Phoenix. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this will help you in your daily job. I invite you to watch more videos from Druva University.